show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/awesomecast. It's time to get geeky, get awesome, and get musical this week. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
This is the AwesomeCast.
I need to get used to this. And that we'll get to what that was in a moment. But of course, we didn't have an episode last week because we were doing a lot of stuff in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, with barely any internet connection. But we got a supersized episode for you guys this week. Yes, we will be talking about the iPhone, but in the meantime, we're going to talk about wind tunnels. We're going to talk about crash test dummies, giant cuckoo clocks. I think maybe are we going to talk about fairies today? A little bit of everything. And of course, our very special guest I'm going to introduce in just a second. But first, my co-host with us, and whoop, there we go. I missed out the buttons. There you go.
Katie Dudder.
Yes, an intro song. I love it.
So happy.
Well, I love you were showing us you had a meetup with somebody today, and you got something special. And I just realized your shirt matches your bounty of comic books you got over there. What do you have over there?
I met up with one of our Patreon supporters, Diggy, Degore, and brought me comic books.
Oh, those are the old school ones, aren't they? Ooh. Dark Empire. Whoa, Dark Horse era. Hello.
If you notice,
Empire's End.
if you give me comics, I will open them and look through them. So I will warn you in advance. If you were a person who does not open them, I open them. That's what's
I'm terrible with I'm terrible with toys too. It's like here's this pop figure. I'm like cool. Now I just like don't. I'm like they're going on a shelf, and because I will just play with them. Anyway. It was amazing interludes are by our very special guest this week. Kidmental is joining us in studio and brought his own studio with us. That's a
Kidmental.
I love it. This is the best show off of a guest that we've had ever. I think I can't remember last time we've had a musical guest.
Oh, yeah?
For any show in the studio.
Are you serious?
It's been a while.
Oh.
Pre-COVID, probably.
Pre-COVID.
I mean, we did a lot of stuff over Zoom and stuff with our friends at Jag Off for a while, but but I don't think. But we got to catch up after a random LinkedIn message a few weeks ago because we both went to the Art Institute.
Yep.
And we had a great. We had tacos and BS'd for a few hours here in the studio, and I was like, "Come on, let's do some stuff." And here you are, and you made some really cool sounders for us here. So first, like tell people, I first knew you as Kidmental because I know your theme song was one that was I think we were using for the Pittsburgh Current podcast at the time.
I should have brought that
right. It's on a computer here somewhere, I'm sure, because we were live streaming, so I got the assets in here somewhere.
Right.
So tell us a little bit. Obviously. You're a musician of some sort. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do, for those who don't know yet.
I am Kidmental. I do improv loops, suggestive loops live. So if you ever see me live, more than likely you could just come up to the stage, and if you want me to sing a song about some random thing, I will sing about it. It's just fun like that. I'm on Twitch, and I do the same thing all the time. But my main thing that I love to do is Theme Song Thursdays. It's part of my free theme song initiative. You can go on my website, kidmental.com/free stuff, and sign up. You can sign up for a brand. You could sign up for a keepsake for somebody that you love. You could sign up for yourself. You could sign up as a hero, a villain. I think we have a squad one. We have a whole bunch of a plethora of different theme songs that you can sign up for. And every month, every first Thursday, I will pick a name and I will sing. It won't even be improv. I'll actually sit there in the studio for 6 to 8 hours and just bang out a nice song for you. And it's always fun because like especially with the keepsakes, you get like just people that just want to love, and I just want to share the love. So it's like it's always fun. I think the one we just recently did, I think it was a mom and a daughter. A daughter was appreciating her mom, but she was being passive aggressive in it. Like she was kind of saying like her mom wouldn't give her enough space. And then like her mom was a professional cleaner, but she actually, whenever she has her mom come over to her house, guess what she has her mom do? Like clean up her house. So it was an interesting thing. So pretty fun stuff.
I love it. It's kind of like a musical cameo.
Yeah,
or something,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And I actually got on the Cameo. They finally like let me in. Like two years ago, I signed up for Cameo. And they were like, no, we don't like you. And then, like, I guess it just went downhill. So then they were like, oh, let's reach out to all the people who wanted to get on it. Yeah. So then they asked me, and I got accepted. So a couple months ago, I'm on Cameo.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's awesome. So what is the weirdest recommendation suggestion, I guess, that you've ever gotten over the and I'm sure, and we are a PG-13 show here, so I'll just leave it at that.
So no, I can't. The
R-rated shows later tonight. So
I during COVID, there was a time I got to do Reddit. So I got on Reddit, and Reddit does live. And I guess we had to rest in peace Reddit live. Now it's no longer anything.
I didn't even know they did live over there.
They did. I had like 42,000 people watching me at once one time. I know, right? Like I didn't even know until somebody had to comment in the section like, hey, you got 42K in there. And I'm like, oh my God. And I just had to keep going, right?
That's awesome.
And a lot of the kids, so I guess since there's no R-rated things, there's a lot of kids who get on there and they'll say some random things. But I want
to say for context, we do talk about Pornhub a lot.
Oh, you do?
Show.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So if you want to, just highly suggest what happened.
Now I can't even. Okay, so there are a few sex workers that did come in, and they did ask me for some things, I felt like it was appropriate for me to do it.
Sure.
You know. And because if you're going to try to censor something, that's probably not the place to do it.
Right.
You know?
Reddit's definitely not the place to do it.
No, it's not. And I did a few different suggestive songs on there, and we had fun. Like everybody just was like, I didn't expect you to do that, and it came out really well. And they're like, hey, like this is a bop. This is stuck in my head. And I think that's the best compliment that you could ever receive is it's stuck in their head.
That's amazing. So you got this whole setup over there. And please, like, I'm sure there might be some musicians that might be listening to this. But even for like some of us that maybe are not like fully into it, like what are you working with over there? Like what kind of hardware do you have in that setup?
I have a pretty simple setup. I try to keep everything analog or hardware. So I try not to use any apps or anything like that. So I have an Electro Harmonics voice box over here. It's a foot pedal that you can do things
like this and talk real cool like that.
I could do harmonies, and I got a vocoder in this, so when I hook it up to my keyboard, I can sing with it. And then I have my main hardware over here is the RC505. It's not the Mach 2. I do have the Mach 2, though. I'm happy. Finally, I got a gig big enough to support me to get a Mach 2.
That's how you do it.
And, yeah, this one was actually given to me as a present. I was trying to get into this, right, and I had a RC, I think, 21. I think it's a 2-pedal. And somebody gave it to me, and they say, hey, if you can make this work, you can use it. So I started that, and I started getting back into the scene because my kids are older. So I got back in the scene with this little pedal, which I was trying to use my hand on. And this guy hired me, Mike Y. Peace, Mike Y. Shout out. And he wanted me to host his loops giving and his loop stuff. And he said, have you ever used a 505? And I said no, and he let me use it, and every day I would just practice with it. And we had I hosted his different shows throughout the years, and then the last year that I hosted one of his shows, he was like, all right, it's yours now, and you can have it. And I was like, yo, like that was probably one of the best presents I ever received. I was enamored, I could use it. So This is that RC505 that I got from him. And then I got 2 MPX 16s over here. These are triggers. That's how I use to
AwesomeCast.
and I have these because they don't really make them anymore. And it gives me I got 16 on each one, and so I have 32 now. But they don't make them, so I can't.
It's like a button pad, right?
Yeah.
I noticed. I saw you writing on there, and we use like the white tape for when we're doing like
Yeah,
soundboard
yeah.
kind of stuff. Like, is it like a dry erase kind of surface on there?
Yes, I found these from Europe somewhere. In Europe, somebody makes. You can stick it on top of it, and it's all dry erase.
Nice.
And I just
So it just kind of goes on it
label
like an iPhone screen or
Yep,
something, right?
yep,
That's
yep.
awesome.
It's really cool. So I've been able to use it and know what's under each button.
Yeah. And you're not like, you don't have a big mess. Like, we have to like replace the tape and
Yeah.
stuff every time, and then you get like sticky residue on your soundboards, because it's all, we use it for like, okay, this is mic 1, mic 2,
Yes,
this is gonna be a room mic,
Yep.
this is this coming in, just so we like aren't confused in the heat of the moment during a gig. Like the same thing was that, right?
It's a hard thing because before on the other side of this,
Mhm.
I would put gaff tape on it,
Right.
and then I would put 16 little squares, and then I would write inside the square.
Oh, so you created this matrix like legend or something that you
did.
just stuck on there, and you have to make sure it coordinates with what you see,
which
and you
was
push
so
the button.
hard
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
live and I'm like, somebody just made a joke, and I'm like, joke. Oh, joke is joke.
So it killed it.
I did it. Sometimes I'm off, but I got it. Now I
Yeah,
can do
yeah.
it faster.
Nice. Yeah, that's what comes with experience, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's amazing. So
Oh.
So when you're doing this live, like when you're doing the live thing, like what are you like we talked about you're doing music sets, like what are you kind of generating on those kinds of sets?
What do you mean exactly?
Like when you're doing, like we were talking about, like you doing like the live music, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like how are you generating that? Is it like the beatbox
It's
thing?
all
Like, how
beatbox.
do
It's
people
like
understand that?
It's this. It's.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Thanks.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
It's just right off the cusp. I
Yeah.
didn't, a cuff, I guess. I don't have any cuffs.
PG-13, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Cool. So what do you recommend for people that want to get into this kind of thing?
I recommend just experimenting on anything.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have the money, there's if you have an iPhone, you can get a everyday looper. Everyday looper is a pretty cool one. You should look that up. It's great. It gives you, I'm pretty sure it 1, 2, 3. I think it's 4. It might give you 4 different ones.
This one
but
here?
that one.
Mm-hmm.
But you see the 4. It's yellow, green, orange, blue. But then you also can do. Those are all mono. Those are mono, so you can split that in half. So you can do 6. I think 8. I think. Don't give me. I'm pretty sure you can.
Either way, it's a good. It's only a $5.99 app.
That's
like
it.
That's low. And
this is $500 and something right
yeah,
now. So.
Yeah. And you step up, right? I think it's the same with video. Like everybody's got a phone in their pocket. Start with that.
Start with that.
Build up. Okay, when you hit the ceiling, what that phone will do.
Yeah.
Okay, I need X to get to the next
Exactly.
level, right?
Exactly.
Or,
I always try to suggest that everyday looper. It's a really fun looper. Is that?
Yeah,
those
yeah,
are
you
my
got to
sons?
sneak in there. You got to sneak in there. So your kids are in the back here, and,
Yeah.
and I let them loose on my Xbox, and I got who knows what's on the Xbox.
Yeah,
we should check.
we
into
should
them.
check in.
So I hit the Twitch stream on there. Okay, they were playing a cooking simulator.
Yes.
Apparently they have moved on to Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball
so
Z. My son, the youngest one, loves Dragon Ball Z.
they're in heaven because they have video games. Every game they have like 300 games on that Xbox and free access to pizza.
Free access to pizza. I've got to get whatever you got over here so I can hook this up at my house.
There you go. There you go. So I'll tell you, Game Pass is the way to go. I don't know if
Game
are you an Xbox?
I had I had the very first Xbox, and then I never got to move forward because I have children, and we all know if you have children, the system to have is the Nintendo. So I had the Wii, I had the Wii U, and now we have the Switch. So
I got you.
yeah,
I got you. I tell you what, getting the cheapest Xbox, getting the Game Pass, you're good for hours.
So once you get the Game Pass, once you have the game, you have it forever?
Well,
or?
you have it for as long as it's part of Game Pass, but a lot of them are on there forever. There's like 100, 150 games. They got EA
and
on
you
there.
got to pay for monthly or something?
Yeah, it's like a monthly deal. It's like $10 a month or something.
So
yeah,
$10.
Like $10.
Like $10. Yeah,
But here's the tip: you go to Best Buy when they have Black Friday sales and get like the 6-month one.
Oh,
then you're good to go for a while.
snap.
Then it's like,
Might have to remember that.
yep. Just work the
system.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
work the system. Work the
Thanksgiving's
system for the
coming up.
system. Thanksgiving is coming up. Oh, that's great. So yeah, you've made some really cool sounders for us.
Thanks.
So that's which I'm
I
trying
hope I remember to push the button, but you
That's
got to
right.
remember to pause. That's the thing. Like you got to pause now.
So I
Right.
gotta work on my timing for that. This is a new coordination that I have to learn to do. So it's a new performing art. So you're gonna stick around with us, and we're gonna talk tech and other things. I think.
Yes.
As we go here. Actually, before we get too far, I want to give a shout out. We'll get into more awesome things here, but I want to give a shout out to everybody. Let you know, check out everything at AwesomeCast.com if you're here for the first time. We do have audio and video versions wherever fine podcasty things are streamed, and we're live every Tuesday-ish. We're actually a little bit of a travel month, so this is one of 2 Tuesdays this month that we're usually on at 7 p.m. Eastern time when we are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch for AwesomeCast or Sorgatron Media, respectively. And of course, there you go. The point is to just roll with it and not respond to the sound, right? Like, there you go. That's what I need to work on. Just like rolling through when I screw up, words and things like that. So thank you to our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/awesomecast. We do try to put a little bit extra content out for you. I know we've been a little light on that lately. We're going to fix that. So especially people that give Katie comics over there. So so thank you to our supporters over there at Coffee Club level, Matt Weller and Cynthia Koloski at the Fan of the Show level. Thanks to our friends Michael Fedor, John, thanks for the comic books to Gore, and Dave Pawner, spouse of Roost Jewelry Affair at roostjewelryaffair.com. Yes, you can put your own plugs in too. If you join us on Patreon, you can support the show at patreon.com/awesomecast. And we do have the video and audio versions direct in, well, I guess it's a link to the video version in Patreon. I've been using Patreon as a podcast app lately for the shows that I follow and support. So it's actually it's a better podcast player than Apple Podcasts half the time, it seems. So I've kind of started rolling with it. So, and then of course the shorter videos, actually the Patreon editions that we do, we've been actually uploading right into Patreon too.
Hell yeah!
So you can check it out there. And apparently Spotify, there's links in there, so like that'll intermingle. I don't Spotify, so let me know if that's working. Again, patreon.com/awesomecast. So Katie and I had another adventure, Baja adventure this past week. And that of course I didn't think we were going to find anything interesting in Ohio, Katie. And even it seemed more and more like we're going to see less and less interesting. And I didn't even think about this in the rundown, but every day we passed a giant basket on the way to, and again, we're doing Baja SAE. We're going out to a field. Honda was sponsoring and putting on an event. They were tremendous. We'll talk more about them in a moment. But it was like a 10-story basket. Let me see if I can go grab a picture for this thing. Katie, I don't know how more to describe this thing.
The Longenberger basket.
Longenberger.
Longer,
which
Longen-
I learned is
Longenberger?
which I learned is an Herbalife style multi-level marketing scam. And I don't think they're doing good because the basket is now empty. The basket is not plentiful. Let's put it this way. This is the basket. Here, I'll throw it up on you guys on video. This thing.
Wow.
That structure is ridiculous. It comes up over the trees as you're driving by. We passed it both ways every day to the site from our hotel. And we went up and took pictures of it with it, which I should probably pull up as well. Yeah, it was nuts. So we figured out Central Ohio is very strange between this and some other things.
Better
that we
watch it. You know I'm from Ohio.
Which part of? I don't think you're from Swiss / Amish country, Ohio.
I'm from
because I don't think anybody is. But and this is the other thing. This stuff isn't far away from us.
No,
like that's like 2.5 hours from here.
Yeah.
Okay. And on the way back, we were doing TikToks with our friend Scott, that he's been on the show with SAE, and you were like, "Hey, all these kids are from all over the country. You know, what are some trivia?" And Katie, didn't you come up with this fact about the clock?
Yeah.
So tell us about the clock.
So we were looking, trying to think of something. The thing is we have Scott ask them a question. Well, Sorg has Scott ask them a question. The students a question about like specific to the area where we're at. So it might be something about who's from the area, any random things that we come up with. And this one, we were kind of, it's Ohio, what do you say about Ohio? And Googled, interesting things about Ohio or what weird things Ohio is known for. I can't remember which list that came up on, but on the list, it was like celebrities and stuff. And it was like world's largest cuckoo clock. And
we had to visit it because it's on the way home to Pittsburgh.
Giant cuckoo clock.
It's 24 feet high or something like that.
Yeah, 24 by 23 by 24, I think it was, because it sounds squarish, but like seeing it in person, it's not, because it's obviously got a different shape. But I get. So
this thing goes off on every half hour. And we got there like 10 minutes before noon and watched the people gather and just arrive for this thing, right? And it goes off, and there's a video in here somewhere. But it rolled, the video's not loading in this. But these guys roll out of that door and start playing like a 3-minute song.
Wow.
With the dancing lady and guy. This whole time.
Wow.
This apparently about 10 years ago, if I read the sign right, was it on the sign or it was actually moved from the Loose Caboose. I got it. This is parked out front. The Loose Caboose Depot, Chicago-style hot dogs and hand-dipped ice cream. The other thing I learned about Central Ohio, they're apparently obsessed with Chicago things. So there's, I don't know what that's about, because there's this, and there was like East of Chicago Pizza sign that we passed, and we're just like, the other guy we saw at the Dutch buffet was like, I love Pittsburgh and I love Chicago. I'm just like, okay,
that's mob stability right there.
That's what?
Mob stability.
Mob stability.
Yes. Remember from New York. And then come through Pennsylvania, through Ohio, straight up to Chicago.
It's funny because we have a friend of the show, Chris Whitlatch, that did a book called Notorious Pittsburgh that's about the underbelly of Pittsburgh history.
Okay.
Anyway, so we go and we're just like, oh, we'll spend like 5 minutes here, go see the clock. And then we just like, when you say tourist trap, that's kind of what happened. And this town got like 4 hours of our time, like flypaper. Yeah, it was. We're like, oh, we'll get going. I'll get back in time to return this rental car. I didn't.
Did not.
I did not.
Not at all.
Thing is, we drove in. I'm looking at the clock. Katie's freaking out beside me. And I'm like, wow, she's really excited about this clock. They're like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And she's like, no, there's this thing over here. Katie, what did you see?
It's like this. it was like a Swiss Alps looking place. And the building that caught my eye first was the Fairie building.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Fairy Garden headquarters, fairy everything you can need for a fairy garden ever. Dragons, mermaids. I saw the phrase secret garden. I was like 100% in on this place. I was like, can we stop? Like I was trying to say, can we stop?
And I was like,
no idea.
I'm like, yes, we're right here. The clock is right here. It's across the street. Like she didn't even see the clock that we parked beside. So if you're on audio, like you walk in and there's trees in this building and everywhere.
Wow.
And the trees are from the owner's property.
Mm-hmm.
Like the owner builds a lot of the actual displays of things from things she either has around her yard or has made out of other objects. And it's just like a huge piece of driftwood right there. And it does a lot. When you first walk in, the painting on the floor, she did the painting on the floor. This is serious fairy business. And she actually owns an Airbnb next door that originally looked like a pretty normal looking house and turned it into this beautiful fairy Airbnb. Gorgeous flowers everywhere, stonework on the outside, and just incredible. And the inside is just as magical.
Mm-hmm. We were looking up the Airbnb listing because we think we need to come back.
So we have to see it.
There's a Christmas corner, and it like keeps going in the back. And about 90% of what you see here is purchasable, by the way. But it's just wonderful to just walk around in. And there's Katie for scale. So, yeah, it's absolutely incredible. We ended up just buying a bunch of these charms for everybody because it was like oh, this is perfect for so and so. Yeah, they got us. But this is incredible. I want to take people back to this place. And the woman that was operating the store that day was amazing and told us all about the history of everything. It was just absolutely incredible. What's the official name of this place? I just saw a Fairy Secret Garden. I don't even know what to look up for this place.
Ooh, it wasn't Secret Garden. Now I have to look it up.
And this is in Sugarcreek,
Yeah.
Ohio. And I remember,
yeah, it's Secret Garden.
And I remember that because there's a movie apparently that was based on this town that is on display. That's the other thing. We went to the free museum about the town.
Three levels.
3 levels of the history of Swiss, Ohio, Swiss country, Ohio.
We learned how to make cheese.
We learned how to make cheese.
Wow.
It is very important to us.
So you're going to make some cheese now?
No. Not very. We'll see what your kids are making in the back. What were they making earlier?
They were making coconut water. They threw it in the fryer.
They threw it in the fryer.
But they kept it in the box. Like they threw the box in the fryer. Like why?
I think you guys back there need a home ec class, maybe.
Dude, I cook with them every Saturday and Sunday. I don't know what they're doing.
And this is where they get out all the aggression.
Yeah, they do.
But no, like this place had like, and it's all like this old timey stuff. Nobody smiles in the pictures, but like the incredible part was, like they were these. You push a button and it would like move lights directing you to what to look at. And I was like, this is like high tech for a small town. What is this like random town, museum, right? Like I've never seen anything like it. Wow. It was incredible.
It definitely looks Ohio though.
Is it?
It feels Ohio, very... definitely.
Oh yeah, this is the basement, by the way, where they put the vehicles. Yeah, that's. This is a portable. It's a wagon, and it's a portable dark room. From whenever,
wow.
I don't know, turn of last century maybe. No, just surprise after surprise, and then we had to go to this Dutch Valley restaurant that somebody recommended, and apparently it's like it had a theater for live performances, including Amish stage shows. Gifts.
The Amish were allowed to perform on the stage?
I think they're just portraying the this is the Amish, like they're like riding tractors and stuff. This is
Oh,
like there's
the
like a
tractor
new there's like a
riding.
new age Amish.
It was like the
thing going on.
NWO of Amish.
The NWO.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have there's Amish back home where we're from, north of here, and they're definitely like they're allowed to
Yeah.
do tractors and things like
Yeah.
that. So like there's like there's different levels of Amish.
Yeah,
apparently,
right.
So.
Because some of them can be on phones now, right?
I haven't seen
I
that.
don't know. I was just
Okay.
trying to guesstimate the future.
There might be. I mean,
You know,
the progressive Amish are up to
they
100
probably have
years
a
ago,
flip
maybe.
phone.
The
right?
flip phones. There you go.
They go to
Yes, the Amish and wrestling promoters. Exactly.
boom.
So, but that was absolutely wild. So Sugarcreek, Ohio. Apparently, go there. What did he say? They said that the place was packed during September and October because of the Swiss Festival. And,
Oh.
and we're like, good. We're not there
Yeah,
then.
not there.
Not too many people.
Is
I
it-
made the mistake of going to Salem, Massachusetts on Halloween weekend because I
No.
happened to have a gig that weekend up there,
No.
and that was a horrible idea. There wasn't a place in town to park, so I have to return again someday.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, basically. So I don't know, Katie, anything else about this before we talk about Honda?
Oh, geez, I can't think of anything else exciting. I mean, there was so much, just like a little section, it was overwhelming. And like with the gift shop at the flippin' Amish buffet got us too. I found
Wow.
gifts for my friends' kids.
Yeah, and they had a bakery there and everything. Jeez.
Yeah.
They had an inn. You can go stay in Amish country in like a pretty swank looking inn. It was
Yeah.
wild.
Nice.
So we discovered a little bit there. And so anyways, for Baja, we did the usual thing, film cars and dustiness through the weekend. There's Katie there at the finish line there on Sunday for the endurance race. There you go. But Honda's been really kind of connected with the Baja program. And of course, for those who don't know, it's a collegiate design series program. I think it's something else they call it now, university programs, I guess. I'm still working up on the branding. But it's college kids or engineers, and they build these cars and they, put them through dynamic days, endurance racing, suspension. They had a. I need to get a picture. I don't see if I have the picture of this. They had usually there's a sled pull, right? Like a tractor pull kind of looking thing that they do.
Yeah.
And these cars, for those of you, because you haven't seen these yet, these are like mini Baja cars. They look like
Baja.
yeah.
I heard Baja and I'm like, are these small cars?
Yep.
'Cause-
Yep. And so they're technically mini Baja. And oh wait, is this? Yeah, this is. They did a little parade here as the cars came out. So and there's all the students and everybody there. So yeah, they build these cars. Colleges like Ann Arbor's there in the beginning. Rochester Institute of Technology, Carnegie Mellon's done like at least Formula. Pitt, I've seen at some of these.
Ooh.
So and there's all over the country. So
Hell yeah.
and here's the duck pond that they were diving into too, and they actually put a bunch of ducks in there. So we had a good time there. But Katie, can you tell them about like the Honda day that we got to do. And again, we can't show you much of it because we haven't been cleared on the footage yet, security wise. So we're still waiting on that. So I can put together a highlight reel. But in the meantime, we can illustrate a little bit. We have one picture to show you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are going to talk about so we are talking about all the things with that one photo.
Yes. Do I start with the
Perfect.
photo or do we build up to the photo?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, so
all
the
right,
day
there you go. This is going to be
Do
the
it.
cover art.
yes.
This is
Done.
us for scale in front of the giant fan in a wind tunnel that they use for testing automotive design,
Wow.
right? Noise testing, things like that.
Aerodynamics.
Yes, exactly. And this is a small part of the facility.
Wow.
It is ridiculous. Like I'd say this is like the entire wind tunnel thing itself is probably like 50% of the building, if not more. Does that seem right, Katie?
Yeah.
So-
it was huge.
And we got to walk through the fan to the other side.
You
it was
walked through?
it wasn't on. The
I
whole
thought it
thing.
was going so
No.
fast that you were able to walk right through it.
No, we'd be dead. No. So no, we'd be dead. So, Katie, tell them a little bit about the fan, or the wind tunnel.
The wind tunnel. Oh yeah. So we thought that like we're going into this. It's a wind tunnel is where you've probably seen a car sitting there and the wind is blowing around it. That's what we're talking about when we talk about a wind tunnel. Is that's how they test the car for aerodynamics and stuff. And huge, amazing lobby. And then they take you back to the room, and there's computers and monitors all around, and the big empty room. And they're like, all right, we're going inside. And the door for this place is like almost a foot wide.
I think it was like 3 feet. I think it might have been 3 feet thick.
It might have been. It was huge.
It was like a bank vault.
Wow.
A complete quiet when you walk in there because everything is so insulated, which is really weird. And then in front of you is like this big kind of pit thing because that's where the air comes up and around. And they're like, okay, this is where we did the test. Explain where the car stuff goes. Blah blah blah. All right, we're gonna go into it now. And we're like, what? Into the wind tunnel. And they're like down the hallway, and you're walking through these gills almost of like slots of then that you can walk through.
There's a yellow
door, and you see.
And there's a yellow line to follow so you don't get lost. Don't take the wrong one, basically.
Wow, it's like Dorothy.
Because it ends up being mesh, like almost like chicken wire. But I mean, not like chicken wire, but like similar to like a small wire. And it's as a way they catch things.
High-end chicken wire. Let's just say that.
Yes, high-end chicken wire. And so you're walking through there, and there's bags and stuff caught. That they've people base it a lot of times. They find badges, pen, like whatever might be happen to be
cell phones.
Wow. Cell phones. By that point, they don't work anymore.
Well, here's the to kind of illustrate that point, because they talked about like you could be there, and they're like, yeah, we'd have the car here, and you can stand 5 feet away from it and not be like, and we're pushing 100-mile-per-hour wind, which you would be.
Yeah,
right?
Like pushing 10.
So like you can stand there and not be affected by the wind, but you have a tether to the floor in case you accidentally step forward, because there's no visual of the wind that could kill you right in front of you.
Wow.
Right? So, and that's why they're talking about like somebody goes in there, doesn't secure something, and they lose a pen or something, and that's why they catches it, because that mesh is right before that giant fan we showed you, right? So, Katie, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. But yeah, so then there's another layer where there's the big turbine, like that big where we're standing. So you hit that guy, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna walk through here." And so we had to duck a little bit, but most people could have walked through. We had to duck a little bit to get through there. And then on the other side, it's another big concrete room, and that's another air filtration system. And it just was like this thing just kept going and going.
We couldn't go any further because beyond that is the radiator. That keeps the temperature, and it was like, what did they say, about 9 columns of the radiator, and they could specifically, if we're getting a little bit of heat on this side of the tunnel, they can adjust it.
Wow.
Like if this like sliver of the tunnel is a little hotter than this, because they want everything to be even for their testing, and they, have that zero like kind of like starting point, right? And so there was still like another half of the tunnel to go around.
Wow.
Right? I love it. What did he say that he said that this place? He's like, let's just say if there's a tornado warning, we're not concerned if we're in this building. So, and they took us for a tour down and showed us all the garage bays, and there's a car wash in there, so they're not getting dirt in the tunnel. And they're literally like, we went to other wind tunnels. This is like, I think they said they started operation in what, 22, 20? I think they finished in 21, started in 22 officially.
It was really recently.
Been designing and building since 2015, maybe. It's because everything down to the minuteness of like that. You see how close those blades are to that to the concrete.
Granular.
Like, it's like it has to be precise. So every detail of this giant facility has been designed. Every like millimeter of this place has been designed for perfection, basically.
Wow.
And they're just like, this is stuff. Basically, they had a wish list of all the other wind tunnels, and we're just like, we want it here. It was crazy. It was wild. We saw crash test facilities. And what was the other place? The Heart Racing, which I know you had fun. You had fun photographing too.
Oh my gosh, I get to take pictures of photos of actual race cars.
Yes.
And it was so much fun.
I was geeking. A lot of them said Gran Turismo on them too, and I just saw the movie. So, So I was completely in the
So-
vibe.
That was the movie.
The movie's pretty good. The movie's actually pretty good. So,
Nice.
but I don't know anything else from the Honda days. Like everybody, it was great. Like it was such a fun event. Don't have enough good things to say about like the Honda people, and we knew a lot of the Honda people because a lot of them do tech inspection and have been part of these events year after year. But to see them kind of on their own turf, and they're sitting there saying, "There's Honda employees that were working on this event," and were like, "I haven't even seen the wind tunnel."
Wow.
So it was pretty wild. So, and I guess sounds like we'll probably go back here in a couple good years. So it was a lot of fun. Oh, anything else from that week that I'm missing, Katie?
There was a coffee truck.
And that's the most important thing, was the coffee truck. Listen, it was the most
100%.
important thing in the end. Because
Absolutely.
it was about a 5-day event for us, and we usually do 3. So,
okay.
yeah.
We did get our first rides on the actual course. Like
yes.
on the
First for you. I've been on a couple of these before. I was on a Formula track one time in a Maserati. I got to squeeze into this freaking car.
First Baja.
First Baja for you.
Baja.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you been on a Baja? Like over the actual track before?
I think I have in the past, yes. But again, like we really need to start asking for this because it's become like kind of necessary.
Okay, homie.
Here's actually Katie coming back from.
Oh, look at that! Look at
So,
you.
Yeah, you got to
I
drive
had
the.
so much fun.
You got to drive ride the suspension and traction and the maneuverability tracks, right?
Yes.
So
They're so
So much
Baja.
fun.
there you are over there. A lot of fun. Fun crew. They said they had the duck pond there that we showed a little bit of video of, and they just bought, what did they say, like 100 ducks off of like Amazon or something, and just dumped them in there.
Wow.
So the cars are splashing in, and the ducks are just going everywhere, and then like the people on the track are just throwing the ducks back in between cars. So, but anyways,
Sounded fun.
oh, geez. Good time there. And going to have some fun with those guys the next couple of weeks here for some events with our they're going to be workshops. So I'm going to learn a lot that I don't understand about EV technology and auto drives.
Nice.
But anyways, it'll be good to go see the crews. A lot of fun crew with that SA. Oh, and Katie, since we're about to talk about iPhones, you dropped yours in the mud.
Yeah.
Your iPhone
Not even kinda.
13 Pro Max, definitely in the mud of the first test of the duck escape, and it may have been driven over by a car.
Maybe. Just a little bit.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's like one of those
My buddy.
Nokias.
There it is. There it is.
There it is.
It's
My buddy.
fine, clean, all good. Nothing's
I
cracked.
rinsed it a bottle of water. You saw me just dumping bottle of
Yep.
water on top
We're
of
like,
it to rinse all the
They
mud
said
out.
this is okay now.
I'm like, if it didn't, the mud didn't do it. The water's not
And-
going to.
And I think you went swimming with your watch for the first time too, right?
Yeah, I tried that for the first time.
You're like, I'm
I'm
gonna
putting all my tech into water.
You're like, I'm going to submerge all my expensive devices this week for the first time. So it's real, we call that real world testing. All right.
Yeah, you have to.
Let's talk about what's coming up in Apple here in a moment. We'll do a brief summary, but in the meantime, give a shout out to our friends that are feeding those kids in the back. Let's see how hyped up on pizza they are and what they're getting into now. Looks like they're still playing.
I love it.
Looks like they're still playing Dragon Ball Z back there. Let's see. They might have finally gotten their fill of pizza or we ran out. We'll have to check on that. So they're doing their thing back there. But that's of course our good friends at Slice on Broadway feeding our guests here for well over a decade of the AwesomeCast. Thank you so much to those guys for supporting us on the show and feeding our guests and supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Started when they had one location, and they have umpteen. I haven't even started updating the list because they just keep adding them every other week. It seems like. So check them out. Slice on Broadway, the OG right here up the street from Sorgatron Media Studios. Thank you to Rico and the crew. Rico says hi, by the way. Was hanging out when Missy went to pick everything up today. So thanks to everybody out there.
This is the AwesomeCast.
Yes. And we got a little peek into what's awesome and new today. New iPhones, new Apple Watch, and Octavia Spencer is apparently Mother Nature.
Yep, it's the news.
They did a wonderful bit with her as Mother Nature.
Really?
In a corporate boardroom setting, and they had Tim Cook and everybody there, and
Dude.
she's raking them over the coals about environmental goals. It was like 20 minutes of this presentation, right?
She's so great.
It was amazing, and even like Tim Cook was funny in this thing, right? I recommend look up. I'm not going to show it because they're going to take us off YouTube. But in the meantime, but they did get to some product stuff. I'd say the highlights. Of course, there is a new Apple Watch Ultra 2 that we'll never be able to purchase. If you're mountain climbing and want to do all that stuff, like that's updated and new. And honestly, it's just a bunch of stuff that I'm not fit enough to even take advantage of.
How much is
Have you
that?
seen this guy? It is. Oh, let's see how much this guy is. You ready? Here, you probably have a sound effect ready for whatever this is. I'll put it on you here. It is going for starts at $799. Yeah. Actually, this is an Apple story, so you're gonna be hitting that one a lot. Yes. I can't tell you what all it's got. Basically, I think the main feature is it's got more like room for every graph and that you would need on a hiking adventure or something like that.
Does it have a map? Does it have a GPS?
I think I think GPS is built into it. The whole idea is you can do your entire like outdoors adventure in this thing.
Does it pull venom out of the wound? I mean,
it's a 49mm titanium. You're going to hear titanium a lot here. Water resistant up to 100 meters. So when you're going
100
spelunking,
meters.
I don't know. Not snorkeling, but scuba diving. You would be wearing this watch apparently. Let's see, tested to standards, dust resistant, IPA6, whatever that means. You have a special low dark mode, always on Retina display. They have an action button. That was the big thing. There's an extra button on here for things you need. A watch.
What?
Now, they had like $2,000 Apple Watches when they started, remember, but they were made of like gold. So that's the first thing there.
Why?
The big thing that I think most of us will be interested in, because this is something I heard of before, and Katie, you may have brought this up before. There's a from the first Apple Watch, there's an accessibility thing where you could like kind of pinch your fingers on the hand that's holding it. This is now becoming a main feature of the Apple Watch. I'm not clear if this is with the Series 9 or if it's just something they're going to be starting to do with the new Watch OS, because this is something that I think any of us can already turn on now, correct?
I think so.
Last we knew, maybe.
I know.
Last we knew.
There's been things we thought we knew and we no longer know.
So, once again, new chip, a lot of power under the hood there, and that's always been a thing from the beginning, was they were always a little bit slow. There's like double tap to answer, because how many times, I love somebody on one of the Twitch shows, I think it was Micah Sargent, was talking about how, like, you have a message, and Katie, I've done this when you've messaged me before and other people, like, somebody's calling me or you have a message and you want to dismiss it and your hands are full, right? And you use your nose to boop your watch to hit the button, and I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that, because I feel silly whenever. But you can use your fingers as a double tap to, again, answer the phone or something like that. Pause and play music. Also great if you're like, I'm wearing gloves or there's stuff on my hands, or probably when you're swimming, I don't know, and the water isn't going to let you do anything. More responsive, more stuff on the screen. It looks incremental, but generally there was almost nothing about health, I thought, today when they went over things. So that's the Watch Series 9. That is going to start at, and let me get that for you. That is going to start at, it doesn't tell me. Where is it at? $399, which is pretty standard for an Apple Watch.
$399.
Yes, and that's probably for the one without a cell chip. So, because
I can barely get a RC505 with
right.
Come on.
But you never know. You can play music on them maybe with that big chip they have in there. So, iPhones. Sounds like a lot of the iPhone 15 features are kind of just whatever was in the Pro last year. What did it say? 42 megapixel camera. The dynamic island is coming to the standard iPhones. So there's incremental updates, of course, a newer chip, all that kind of usual stuff. But if you want colors, if you want your pastels, you got to go with the iPhone.
Wow. So they're using the flexor pollicis longus in order to that double tap is basically causing this right here.
Oh, what's that?
This
The
tendon,
carpal tunnel.
that little
Oh,
tendon,
yeah.
that tendon. So when you're going like this, since the wrist, the band is around your wrist, this is what it's activating.
It's feeling it.
It's feeling this.
It's feeling your
so
muscle move.
You're doing this, but it's
interesting.
It's feeling that.
Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Someone,
And it
who
shows
thought
how
of that?
and it shows how sensitive it is too.
Yeah.
That it gets that little bit of movement, right?
Yeah. Because
Like
you could only with that. That's the only way you're gonna see that. Like, you know, if you use this one, you can't really do it. You can't really do it. But like, yeah, it's crazy.
One thing I can't remember if this was. I think this is on the regular iPhone 15. Katie, you'd be interested in this. Portrait mode is now automatic.
Ooh.
Right?
Because everybody uses it so much. Because they
Right.
know.
Yeah.
So you have multiple cameras on there.
Yeah.
When you use cinematic mode with video, it's taking all those different depth of fields.
Mhm.
So if I take it and like it does something weird and it blurs out like my subject, or I want it to be on a certain subject, I can go in afterwards and adjust that between the fields.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I have,
Because it's a raw
Katie,
file.
like Katie, I was doing we do close-ups with the phone in cinematic mode, so we have nice bokeh, we have a cutaway kind of thing. It looks really, really cool when we put it with the 4K footage. We had Katie. I made a mistake. Remember when they were lining up for acceleration and we interviewed the OnSnap people with them behind? It kept bouncing on every face that went by. So I got a lot. I got a lot of fixing to do. Okay, so like that's a perfect thing. It was like, oh, because generally you'd be like, oh, this is screwed if it was any other camera. But now it's like, oh, I can go in and fix this in post and make this look great, right?
Yes.
So now you have that with photos, where it's going to take a picture with every camera on the phone, which 2 or 3, depending on which one it is, and you can go back and change the depth of field.
Yeah.
So it will recognize people and pets and try to and say, oh, that's a person. I'm going to do this in portrait mode.
Okay.
Automatically. So, and they said there is a setting you can go in to say, I want it to always be in this mode if you do want to change the focal lengths. And this was another thing, Katie, photography-wise. They're no longer going by 1x, 2x for zooms. They're doing it by millimeter settings.
Ooh.
So they're changing the way that they talk about those kinds of things. And then the one that I'm looking at, and I need to pay off about $600 of my 13 Pro X 1 terabyte here in order to be able to qualify for this, is the iPhone 15 Pro. They have a Max. It's going to be a terabyte. Everything has USB-C now. That's important because, as you'd probably know with RAW photos, or we've been airdropping things or sending all those cinematic videos that we've been doing, is a pain in the butt over airdrop, right?
Yo,
you have this giant file.
Yeah.
You could fill a terabyte iPhone with about a 10-minute video file with the right settings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, how do I get off there?
You're not going to.
How do I move a terabyte of video
with a USB-C?
With a with
the news.
with like a lightning, like it's not fast enough, but USB-C is.
Yes.
And on top of the fact that you can do that and connect it to my computer and just offload it like we do an SD card at a higher speed, like that'll work. Also, the exciting thing for me is, let's say you do have this rig, have this phone, have it so you're able to do all this high-end video, but now you're limited to that space.
Yeah.
You can plug in an external hard drive
Exactly.
and record directly to the external hard drive.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't need to get a terabyte phone next time.
Yeah, exactly.
I just throw a terabyte in there, mount it on my rig, and you have like your possibilities have just exponentially grown. The tools have been here in the phone, and yes, they're updated. Yes, there's better cameras. Yes, there is a help me out prismatic new setup with a telephoto situation here, Katie, but now it's become functional. Okay, it's become absolute. Let me get to the photo thing here and I'm sure there's terms on there. Also, they have ray tracing. They say they're going to bring a version of the Division video game, as well as versions of Resident Evil, including 4 and the new Village one. They say they're going to bring the new Assassin's Creed Mirage game to this next year. Like, full console games are supposed to be coming to your phone. Playable, of course, on the starting at $1,200 phone, but still, right? So 7 Pro lenses in your pocket, they're saying, with the different versions here. You got your ultra wide micro, ultra wide main, telephoto, and a new 5x telephoto 120 millimeter. So that is incredible. You can do a lot with this, and this is the kind of thing, when I see people doing video with cell phones, I've seen some people doing stuff with like pro wrestling lately and other things. The biggest takeaway is you don't have proper zoom, with a lot of them, at least like kind of movable ones. And this could change a little bit of that. So I think it's a good upgrade if you are a media creator. Mm-hmm. Again, we talk about, although this isn't a $6 app, but still, like, this is something that we'll get if you were like a YouTube creator. I think you could do most of the stuff with this, right? It's like buy this or a $4,000 4K camera. Yeah. And honestly, this does stuff that my $4,000 4K camera I showed you earlier does not do. Right. Or I have to put a lot of work in to get it done, and this thing just does it because the processor is just kind of applying everything for me. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's crazy. It's freaking crazy. It's expensive.
It is.
I'm probably looking at the $1,600 version again. So, but they didn't. It looks like the prices are the same as they were last year, level wise and everything like that.
Woohoo!
So at least yes, there was rumor that the pros were going to get a little bit of a price bump up, but again, you're getting a lot. Listen, like if it was if you're already paying $1,500 and they're gonna bump it up $100, you're not gonna notice that. You know what I mean? But also, you don't need this. I can get some use out of this.
I think I can get some good use out of it.
They might get some use out of this.
I'm a media creator.
You are a media creator. And if you got $1,200 burning in your pocket and you already got your board,
I got
you're good to go, right? So that's okay. There's some plans and there's trade-ins and things like that. So I think I can get $560 for this phone. Yeah. So that's a nice chunk off.
Yeah, I might have to trade in my van. Yes. Yeah.
But he's like your van.
Yeah. But hey, I got a phone.
Do I want to drive or do I want an iPhone?
Take the bus, right?
I can play Resident Evil on the bus. It doesn't even matter,
right?
Right? It looks just like the console. Looks like just as good as looks better than my Switch, right?
Yeah.
Man. So, Katie, is there anything out of this right off the bat? I know you'll probably look more at the specs here that maybe is getting you to upgrade from your 13 Pro.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll probably look more at the photos and how things look, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need that. And then Mama Dudders can get a new phone.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. The pass me down, or like me that I just hold on to like my old 8 and for video purposes here. So that will get a little bit of an upgrade here in the things. Chat room has been popping for this. I'm sorry so much. Sorg.
Thing of the week.
Yes. Dave Potter saying, Sorg, be happy you aren't in Canada or Australia. Yeah, I think it's much more expensive there. 48 megabyte says, again, Dave Potter of the iPhoneography podcast weighing in. Disappointed since it's only a 5x zoom. all right. Steve out in San Diego says, for me, I get a small. Can I say that out loud? Are we allowed to say that you get a small discount from the missus? $450. Okay, stop. Now you're bragging. Okay,
oh, wow.
Now
you're bragging. A small discount.
Small discount is $450 for. Well, I think they started at like $600 or $700. So yeah. Excited for the extended battery life, 2 to 3 hour run. Well, not that the battery's been the batteries. I haven't had battery problems with this thing. This is 2 years old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and really haven't noticed. Like they hold up a lot better than they used to.
Yeah, because they got called out on it. That's why
they did get called out on it.
Probably.
So, yeah, probably. So. The Ultra 2 is way too big, but you can call people 300 feet under the sea on a mountaintop because of the GPS and satellite. Oh, here's the other big thing, and then we'll get out of here. Satellite. Remember, there was the I'm stuck. I'm stuck in the middle of the desert under a rock, and I can get a text message out over satellite situation that they introduced last year on iPhone. Now that has been extended, and now is included thanks to AAA. So now everybody with iPhones has AAA access.
Wow.
I am in the desert and I need my car tire changed.
Wow.
And you can get a message off with your location and everything for a tow truck to show up and help service you. And as somebody who has used AAA a couple of times this year already, it's a good investment. And if you're telling me that, when I'm in the middle of like the woods in Ohio, like I was this week, and it'll still work. And believe me, after some of the experience this week, I'm looking into a lot of satellite technology. So we'll just leave that there because I have an event that I need to try and get video out of a desert. So we're exploring some options there. I'll hopefully talk about here on the show as we go. So, Kidmental, thank you so much for joining us. This has been tremendous.
Thank you for having me.
I love live music. You are allowed to come back anytime you want. We're just going to put that out there.
Let's do it every time.
If you got something you want to talk about, you got something new to show us, you get that new board or something you want to show it off, you are welcome to come in.
Thanks.
And again, where can people check your stuff out?
Kidmental.com. All my social medias are on kidmental.com, and all of everything is on kidmental.com. KIDMENTAL.
And then the Dutters, who's going to be working on her singing voice for when you return.
Yes. Kate Marie PGH on Instagram. I don't know. Kate Dutters, other places. Dutters, I don't know. Maybe I should not be found
Look
online.
for a Dutters that looks like her. Whatever social media.
They're usually
it's all
around
over
somewhere.
the place. Yes.
It's Katie Dutters.
With my own theme song.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm at Sorgatron on all the social medias. Sorgatron on all the social medias. And this has been your awesome cast for this week. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, you have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week.
AwesomeCast.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at Sorgatron.